Okay, we're back with the recording, and we want to explain what is involved in each of the following search techniques. So we have linear search versus binary search. Alright. So what do we do in a linear search? Anybody? And how is a linear search different from a binary search? My God, you all were literally just talking to me before the recording, and now you're all quiet again.
So I think the linear search is what Headley was saying with using a temp variable.
What? No. What is your obsession with the temp variable? The temp variable is only for swapping, and that is for sorting purposes. In the search, remember, we're not moving around data. We're just simply getting the location of data,
Oh,
right?
Yes.
So, in the, yeah,
In a linear search, the target is found by searching the list sequentially, and in a
right.
binary search, the target is found by splitting the list into halves until the target
Mm,
value is found.
right, and the binary search has one further requirement, which is
It can only be an ordered list.
yes. Okay, so that is very correct, right? Let's just illustrate it here. So if I have 5 items in a that I'd like to search, right? Or maybe let's do 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 9, 13, 17, 21, 24, 28, and 50. Okay, and I've put it ordered so that we don't have to put it ordered so that we don't have what you call this thing, so that we don't have to order it for the second binary search. Right, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's say for instance, our target value is 28. In the linear search, we will compare every value going forward one by one until we find our target value. Whereas in the binary search, so the linear first search is pretty straightforward, right? Our linear search is pretty straightforward. And the binary search, however, we have to make a start marker and an end marker and find the middle marker and compare the middle marker against the target. And in this case, the target is bigger than the middle marker. So it indicates to us that we will be searching. We can't find the target anywhere in this first half, right? Anywhere in this first half. So we condemn this half and we want to now search in the second half of the list. So we make a new start and we keep the end that we had and we find the middle value. And in this case, the target just happens to match up with the middle value here, right? So this is where we find it. Now look at the difference. We had to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comparisons with the linear search, whereas we made two comparisons. We made two comparisons with the binary search. All right. So this is something that we have to check. This is something that we can take note of, right, with the linear search versus the binary search. So as Sharice told us earlier, right, the linear search, a linear search does what, Sharice? Could you say over what you said?
It's yeah. Find the target value by searching the list sequentially.
Right, so a linear search will check every element sequentially. Right, the linear search will check every element sequentially until it either finds its target or it reaches the end of the list. Whereas a binary search checks an ordered list by comparing the target with the value in the middle of the list and continues to have the search area until continues to have the search area until either the value, the target value is found. Until either the target value is found or until either, not with the target value is found or the either the target value is found or there are no more elements to. All right. So that is it there for the first two questions. Hold a second. Yeah, sorry about that. So we're going on to the next question. So this is the waterfall approach to software development. So we're in the software engineering section. Right? We could do the question A and B together. So we could do question A and B together on a new page. Explain the waterfall approach to software development. This is only 3 marks. So it's not like a heavy explanation, but what are the key characteristics of the waterfall approach to systems development? Anybody? Zaria, I'm only getting static.
Oh.
Okay. Try again. Unmute. Zaria?
I'll type.
No. We're hearing you better now.
Oh, well, it's very.
Never mind.
Yeah.
It's staticky again.
Yeah, it's back to static. All right. So, all right. So Zaria said that it's okay. Yeah. So the waterfall approach, as Zaria said, is very rigid, right? It's strict and it's rigid. Rigid approach where what? Where each stage must be fully completed before the next stage of the waterfall, right? Or within the waterfall approach can start. So we have a very rigid approach, and it requires each stage to be completed, yes, sequentially. So you cannot be doing design activities while you are doing what you call this thing, analysis activities. Or you can't be coding while you're still putting together certain elements of design. Right? It is good for smaller projects, but can cause problems for, sorry. So it's good for smaller projects, but it can cause problems for larger ones. And the second question, so what are some of the tasks that are performed during the design phase of software development? Anybody?
You can repeat.
What are some of the tasks that must be performed during the design phase of software development?
Like system requirements, finding system requirements.
Design phase. The requirement specification isn't done during the analysis phase and not the design phase.
Oh, designing DFDs and ERDs.
Right. So we have system design, right? System modeling using DFDs and ERDs, right? I see that Zaria said, right, pseudocode, right? Developing pseudocode, all right?
Like IPO charts.
Right. Yeah, we could consider that too in terms of arranging, or organizing system structure, right? Organizing system structure using IPO flow charts. And what else? We can also arrange for the to develop the interface of the system. Okay, so we can develop the interface of the system. All right. So, and of course, you know, the DFDs are used to model the processes of the system, and the ERDs are used to model the databases or the data, how the data will be stored within a system. So good stuff. All right, good job. So let's check the next question. Oh, this is our favorite, data flow diagrams. Who loves data flow diagrams? All right, and I think this question, we might have done this question before. All right, and let me see if I could get a clearer picture of this question, because I realize every time I use the screenshot feature in that specific in that application itself, it gives me a pretty fuzzy picture. But for plenty words like this, let me see if I can get a clearer picture. Right. So, slightly higher quality. Okay. So we have a mail order company receives orders from its customers at its sales department. Right. The sales department prepares an internal order form which it dispatches to the warehouse and sends an acknowledgement to the customer. The warehouse checks for the availability of the item. If the item is in stock, the order is prepared and dispatch instructions are sent to the dispatch department, which sends a copy to the sales department and the accounting department. The sales department receives a copy of the invoice from accounts and sends summary financial statements to the customer, to accounts, and to the customer. Accounts sends an invoice to the customer. We've done this one before, right? Yeah, you all have seen this one before. Yes, you all want to do it over now, or you all want to move on with the other questions? Because I think you all would have the answer to this one somewhere. Or we could do it over for the practice. It's up to you guys.
So could we do it like for homework?
Could we do it well?
Could we do it on our own for homework?
Yeah, you could. Right. So you could do it on your own for homework. Yeah, that's fine. All right. I think that, yeah, that's fine. All right. And of course, we would have done the DFD to this one too. All right. So I'll just do 4A and B.
Ready? Okay.
So, right. So in undertaking the development of a new software system, the system analyst is required to undertake a fact-finding exercise. Identify 3 methods of fact-finding available to the analyst. What can the analyst do for fact-finding? So 3 fact-finding exercises. You all would have done this in your SPE.
Questionnaires, interviews, observation.
Right, yes. Right, would be questionnaires, interviews, and observation. Outline 2 deliverables from the analysis phase of the system development lifecycle. So that was part 1, and this is part 2. So part 2 is that we want 2 deliverables from the analysis phase of the SDLC. And what are 2 deliverables of the analysis phase? I think we were talking about one not too long ago. I'm sorry. All we're hearing is static. Zaria, I think you might have to type to us. All right. So 2 deliverables from the analysis phase of the software development lifecycle. Right, one would be the feasibility report. All right. So the feasibility report is one. And the next one would be the requirement specification. All right, so we have the feasibility report and the requirement specification. And those are 2 things that would have, would come out of the analysis phase of the SDLC. Describe 2 ways in which a case tool can be used in a software development process and state 1 advantage and 1 disadvantage of using a case tool in a project. So what are case tools again? Anybody wants to remind me what is a case tool? Anybody wants to remind me what is a case tool?
Software design or development.
Right, so it's a tool that helps
Aids in
right. So it
system
stands for
design.
computer-aided software engineering tool. And how could it be used? 2 ways or 2 areas where a case tool might be used. Case tools could be used to do what? Case tools could be used to do what?
Draw DFDs.
Right. Yeah. So to model system diagrams such as DFDs and ERDs. Right. Where else can case tools be used? Right. Case tools could be used to aid in the development of code. Right. For example, an IDE which corrects / identifies errors as the IDE which identifies or corrects errors as persons type code, right? Another area, just one more. I know they asked for 2, right? It could aid in the development of interfaces. Right, so it could aid in the development of interfaces for by automatically generating the code as the interface is drawn. Okay, and it could aid in bug tracking. So it could aid in bug tracking. So we could have bug tracking software. State 1 advantage and 1 disadvantage of using case tools in a project. So what could be good about using case tools and what could be bad about using case tools? Anybody wants to share? Anybody wants to share? One each. Okay, so an advantage of using Case tools is that they can improve speed and accuracy of development. That's kind of like two advantages. They improve speed and accuracy of development, right? And one disadvantage is that people could become, of course, very dependent. People could become dependent. Persons could become dependent on the tools, and it could be very difficult for them to have to change or move to a different tool. Okay, so sometimes tools have a learning curve. The tools could also be like costly. All right, so good software to use. Of course, there are a lot of free and open source software as well out there that will be able to that will be able to utilize. People could be able to utilize, but you also have like when you have like specialized software, sometimes you have to pay for it. Right? These tools aren't free. We're going to because we're not doing the ERD question, and again, I know that we did this one for a fact previously. So, I'll just jump to the question 5 and 6. All right, question 5 and 6. And the first question let's do A and B. So I'll copy A and B onto another slide. And we'll do questions A and B together. The question is, explain one difference between an analog signal and a digital signal. And then we will see, we want 2 examples of wired transmission media and wireless transmission media. So let's get those questions on the board. So who's going to answer these for me? Should I call a name or am I going to get a volunteer? What is a difference between an analog signal and a digital signal? All right, so somebody has given me the answer for the next one. All right, an analog signal, all right, is an analog signal is a wavelength and is not able to be read natively by a computer processor. A digital signal, right? So digital are ones and zeros, and they can be understood by a computer. So an analog signal is less precise than a digital signal, but you could also agree that an analog signal probably covers a greater range than a digital signal because of the wavelength nature. All right, so if it is that we had to identify, visualize an analog signal, That's an analog signal there, as opposed to a digital signal, which is that. Okay, so that's the first part of the question, and the second part of the question is that we want to, so this is E, is B now on, and we want to state two examples of each of the following. And for B1, Zari already gave us an answer, right? We have coaxial cable, which is used by, like, cable companies to send television signals and also cable internet. And then we have twisted pair cable, which is what is used by the what is used to network computers. So we have coaxial cable and twisted pair, and then we have two. What are two examples of wireless transmission? Anybody? We have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Okay, so we have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi as two examples of wireless transmission. And for C, using examples, explain the client-server model of computing. So what is the client-server model of computing? Right? In the client-server model, our system is set up so that there is a central server that is in charge of a particular central server that is in charge of a particular action, and there are client machines / workstations that are connected to and make requests of the server. Right, so they make requests of the server. Okay, so example, a proxy server on a network manages all connected machines, internet access. Okay, and so if you want to have like a little example of the client server, right, you could probably put your internet, and on the network you have that proxy, and that proxy will manage, right, connected clients. Let me show it as like a so all the workstations on the network are connected to the proxy workstation, and they will, all of the requests, right? So this is like a switch, and all of the requests to the internet must go through the proxy server. Okay, who is the computer that we have that handles the internet request. All right. Everybody is good with this? Everybody's good with this? Yes, no, yes, no, yes. All right, somebody said yes. So we're going to move forward. All right, so we have question D, which is the College of Inquiry has decided to install a LAN to be used by both staff and students. It's expected that both groups will connect to the internet to do research and communicate with stakeholders external to the college from different points within the campus. It's also expected that the college will connect its LAN to other LANs. Right? So describe 4 network devices that would be used by the college. We want to describe 2 types of transmission media that can be used by the college LAN and state 3 ways in which different users may be granted access to the various data and resources on the network. All right, so let's answer these questions. So 4 network devices that may be used by the college. Okay, if we're using a LAN, it's expected that we should have, it's expected that maybe we should have like a switch to connect all devices on the network. What else could we have on this network as a device? All right. You might need a router to connect to external networks, right, such as the internet. So both groups, so it's LAN to be used by both staff and students. It's expected that both groups will connect to the internet to do research and communicate with stakeholders external to the college from different points within the campus. Okay. What else could we have on this network? We could have network interface cards, right? Each computer will be required to have an NIC to connect to the network. And we might need some server machines, right? Some servers, because to store information on the network, right? To store information on the network or to be able to have applications on the computer system. Okay, so those are 4 network devices that might be used by the college. Okay, describe 2 types of transmission media that can be used by the college LAN. So the college LAN could use both wired and wireless media. So they could use both wired and wireless media. Right? So for the wired, you could use twisted pair cable to connect computers in the lab. And for the wireless, they could use Wi-Fi to allow laptops, right, to connect. All right. So we have 3 ways users may be granted access to the various data and resources in the network. What could we do in this instance? Okay, so we say look at the question again, right? And we say that we have a college of inquiry decided to install a LAN to be used by both staff and students. It's expected that both groups will connect to the internet to do research and communicate with stakeholders external to the college from different points within the campus. Right? It's also expected that the college will connect its LAN to other LANs. So that kind of gives us the indication, right, that we'll be able to connect, right? Hold on. Right, we will the LAN, right? The college should have an intranet for its staff and students to use, right? So the college should have an intranet for its staff and students to use. The college should have an extranet for persons outside of the college to be able to access various resources provided by the college, right? For persons outside of the college to be able to access various resources. Let me use the word school here, right? And okay, maybe the college could have a website with open links to resources that anyone could download. All right, so the extranet is for persons who have, and let me change the word here, for authorized persons, right? For authorized persons outside of the college to be able to access various resources provided by the school. And then the college can have a website with open links to resources that anyone could download. So that way you have different various types of access to different data on the network. All right. Any questions? So we reached question 5, but now we're at the end of class. We have question 6 to do. Maybe we could start with question 6 next class. So anybody have any questions before we leave?
All of the audit. So you will only fill.
Does anybody have any questions?
To enter the room. Okay. Shucks.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, that's it for today. Then you all have a good one. I will add this to the YouTube playlist after I download it.
Abiomi